This is the If More Let's Divide podcast.
Charlie guys, what's poppin'? Welcome to the If More Let's Divide podcast. We are back again, season 5, going strong. Hope that you are enjoying the episodes so far. If you haven't, go back and binge on season 5. After season 5, go to season 4 and season 3 and season 1. But season 1, we were trying to test the waters. We weren't ready, but we were still churning out dope episodes. The only Yawabi say there are no full videos on YouTube, but you can watch season 2, season 3, season 4, and season 5 on YouTube. Check them out. Fred, what happened?
I love that.
Yeah.
Thorough. That was very thorough.
Yeah.
Go check us out, man.
It is because I am in the spirit.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah. When the spirit gets you, ain't no stopping.
You know?
Yeah. Charlie, today we have someone like us in the creative space.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing dope stuff,
Very dope stuff.
especially in the last few years.
Very dope stuff.
I've been following him keenly
Yeah.
and
Really, really dope shit. It's encouraging, actually,
yeah.
to see us in these spaces now and be respected and
Yeah.
recognized for talent.
Yeah.
Solid shit.
Charlie, he's a writer and a creative producer. Ladies and gentlemen, help us welcome Ekow Barnes.
Booyaka.
Ekow Barnes. So wait, is the Barnes your surname?
Yeah, that's my surname.
That means fancy.
Yeah, proud one.
From?
Elmina.
Hey, Charlie. Your village day here no, like some 2 hours away. If I'm on my bike, it takes me like an hour.
Yeah, it's a town.
Yeah, no, Charlie. Where you are from there is a village. me, I'm from Ebony, but I call Ebony my village.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. How often do you go to Elmina?
To visit the family home, it's been, I think the last time was like 3 years ago. But with work, I've been to Elmina like 4 times.
In your life?
No,
Or with work?
with work this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But did you grow up in Accra or in Elmina?
Growing up, I grew up in different places. Yeah, so
No,
I
okay.
really can't pinpoint where exactly.
Yeah. Dope. Charlie, so, I mean, we called you here because, like Fred said, you know, there's a time where, like, you know, we have to pat ourselves on our, you know, shoulders, not because of what we are doing, but because of what the young people, like the youth, you know,
Yeah.
are doing out there. And we called you here because, I mean, aside as being cool, I know that you are doing dope stuff. Would you agree?
Yeah.
But why did you you were thinking, am I doing anything special? Like, do you think you are doing dope stuff?
Yeah, I think I'm doing something right. So yeah.
Do you have a moment where you sat at the edge of your bed, or maybe you were driving, or you were with friends that you know hit you that, hey Charlie, is this me? Like, is this really me? Do you have that moment?
Yeah.
Can you share?
That moment was I think when Kendrick was in Ghana. Yeah. And I remember
That's Fred's guy.
I remember after signing an NDA and after like reading through the whole brief and the team asking about production, I was like, oh wow, this is actually happening. And having to see like an email sign off that talks about PG Lang, I was like, wow, that was really like a humbling moment for me.
So what role were you playing with this coming?
With that, he came to Ghana for his own personal stuff, and I think people were speculating it was an album launch. But what he was doing was basically more like he coming to visit Ghana and also just resting. So Citizen Magazine, I think, partnered with Spotify to also do a project, like a cover sort of project with him. Yeah. So that's where I came in, having to produce editorial for
dope,
them. Yeah.
dope. This was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah. So what do you do? I know, like, you write. I do remember those days when you were modeling. But why did you laugh?
Yeah, because I remember.
I think I met you through Sister Debbie.
Yeah. Debbie.
Yeah, you know, Debbie is my sister, you know. So I think either she spoke to me about you or...
she did. I think so.
Yeah. And I remember the first day we met. Charlie. So I know Fred has tons of questions, but
pick up.
Yeah,
let's go ahead.
So do you look back and like a segue from my previous question? Do you look back and also go like, that thing that I did, it was yawa?
I wouldn't call it yawa. I think for me, every stage of my life and even till now, I think everything is a learning process. And during that period, having to do modeling and all that really paved way for the things I'm doing now. Because also it's more like an industry thing, especially even you made mention having to meet you. I remember Deborah Vanessa, I always say this and she doesn't really like it, but whenever I get a chance, I always say on every platform, because she gave me like one ticket. I think it was Ghana Fashion Week VVIP ticket, and that changed a lot of things. So for me, having to be in that industry, going from being a model, being in front of camera, having to see how they do it, I realized that there was more to what I wanted to do, but then I had to evolve gradually. And also, you can't do modeling forever. I know that people will say that, you can be 40 and be doing it, but like when you're signed, at some point, agencies want to like really...
Shots fired.
Yeah.
To the 40-year-olds.
No, not in a bad way, but like it's now that things.
He said, not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way. Like it's now that things have changed. That like we have this whole social media stuff where people are really evolving, and now you can actually do it. But before, at some point, it's like they give rooms to the new talent for them to come.
Yeah, this is just a question that came to me based on what you just said, and this also. I want Fred to chip in. Do you know, this actually goes to Fred, more Fred. Fred, do you cringe or do you feel quote unquote disgusted when you see someone our age on Instagram being quote unquote an influencer? Someone from here, like, you know, do you go like, this guy?
For maybe he's chauvinist and it's like against men. Like, I'm more critical of a guy doing, but you know who I love on social media is our favorite. Oh, come on, bring your name. Yasmin.
Oh, yeah.
I love her skits. So for that, I feel like that's a different type of content. Yeah. She's not necessarily trying to be an influencer or any of that stuff, but like, I know the one that you're talking about, when a guy is trying to be, look at me, this is what we do. Yeah. I really do cringe, but maybe I'm more critical of also older guys like us doing certain things than I will be of a younger person, because I feel like that is their typical generation, where what they come from and what they know. So I respect it for their era because that's what they're supposed to do. But
Ekow, are you a Gen Z?
No.
Okay.
Nah.
How? How is he not a Gen Z?
I'm not.
You can't.
Maybe you are like.
I'm in my last 20s. Yeah.
I wouldn't have given you more than 24.
I get that, but like I'm not a Gen Z. Yeah.
Oh
wow. So you're almost 30.
I'm hitting 30 this December.
Dope. Shouts. So earlier on, you mentioned how they are like how you grew up in different spots in different places. Can you tell us a little bit about your growing up, your childhood? I
don't know if you could relate, but it has to do with like, a lot of Fantis and Gans. Like, you know how Fantis, grandfathers and grandmothers, my grandfather used to be a station master back then. And so I think when he got married to my grandmom, he used to like they used to transfer him a lot of times. And I never grew up with my parents having like growing up. So it was my grandmom and my grandfather. And so maybe at some point, I was born in Dunkwa Onofin. And so that's where my sister and we grew up, went to school at some point. Then they transferred him to Kumasi. From Kumasi, we went to Takoradi. So it was like, Accra was the last of it. I think it was when after junior high, then we came to Accra. But we used to come to Accra just to visit our cousins. Yeah.
Wow. So you lived in Dunkwa Onofin, Kumasi?
Yeah. Kumasi, yeah.
And
Takoradi a little bit,
Takoradi,
yeah. And I schooled, my high school was in Takoradi too.
Which school?
The best, yes.
I love it.
Yeah. He gave me more friend.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, the best school
really
in the world. I mean, in Ghana and maybe in the world. Yeah.
Yes.
The only school with an over.
We'll get to it.
So aside GSTS, did you do anything fashion related?
As in a course, no.
Yeah.
I think fashion related really just came now, and also the evolution that we are in now, everything is changing, so you have to just read and learn. But fashion was more like, I just realized that there was something that I could do around it. So during modeling, that's how the birth of fashion writing and all this started. Yeah.
But did you go to a modeling school?
No.
Did you belong to any agency?
Yes, I did. Yeah, at some point.
Which agency? Exopa?
No. No, it wasn't Exopa. It was so I think, I don't know if you remember why I always also mention that, because I think when I came into the scene, or during I would say my era, modeling really wasn't for skinny people. And if you ever, like you made mention about Exopa, and these guys were doing so good, but like they were really focusing on more like very tall guys with like a lot of buff. So you go for fashion show, you see like big muscled guys, and I was very petite, and I was like short. They would go like, oh, you're not a standard high model size, blah blah blah. But I used to watch like fashion weeks, like London Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, Milan, and you realize that it was more like skinny, high fashion model. So I saw myself like that because I had that sort of figure or not, but I never really had the chance because a lot of people never really believed in that whole. But also I had this conviction that a time is coming that things will change. So I was just doing my own thing.
Well, where do we start? I like where you're at now because I want to take you right from there. This whole macho man model, that prototype, it never made sense to me. And no knock to anybody who's buff and whatnot, but I think the average guy on the street doesn't look like that. I think I'm more likely to see someone like you than to see someone like them in a typical, like, everyday setting. So my question to you is, what led you to have that feeling or that belief that a time is coming?
Again, like I said, I think having to just watch and read, because you know, when you grow up in a fancy home, my grandmom never went to school, but she would tell you, I'm Mewari Krachi, like I married an elite man. So there were a lot of books. So I used to flip through magazines, and I used to see like very skinny. They weren't really skinny, but I'll call it maybe a slender sort of type.
Yeah, lean.
And I was like, these guys are really doing it. So how come it's not really accepted here? When you see runway shows back then, it was more like very tall, but like most of them. But also I don't blame them because the designers, that was what they were expecting. Because if you are doing kaftan shoot, they want someone with like 6'1", 6'2", 3 to wear that. So I'm sure that was why. But I realized that it wasn't just that. Also, if I want to break in the market, this is where my focus should be. So I realized that I want to do what the Western people are, or what the West they need. Because when I started travel, I realized that they needed like petite size, and my waist is like really standard size when it has to, because the designer doesn't need to really stress to do like 32, 33 when they can just do 28, 29 waist. So that even really inspired me more. And so, I was just doing my own personal editorials with my friends, and
I remember back then when I started using the internet in 99, 2000, early 99, when I started using it proper. I used to tell the people that I met online that I looked like Tyson Beckford. Yeah. Because he was the only guy that I knew, and people always said, "Oh, I have this model figure." Back then, I was so slim. They actually used to call me. They used to call me Ske.
I think you should have
Skeleton. Oh, but now my body blast. Yeah, but I know that if I go to the gym, I would, tone up but I don't want to.
But right now, you can still model though.
Yeah,
the height, and then you're still very slender or lean.
Yeah,
do you think I can?
Yeah, you can, because now there are brands using like a certain type of age, like from 30 to 40 for like the high end sort of campaigns. Yeah,
but I don't even look my age though. So
yeah,
I think you have a unique look that I don't know much about that. I used to be interested in fashion to an extent, read enough to know. I think you have the look that will. Yeah.
Then I'll think about it.
Yeah, you can make some dollars.
I'll really think about it.
Boost our profile, Charlie.
Yeah. You said Sister Debbie gave you your first fashion event, the tickets to your first fashion event. Why did you say that event changed your life?
It changed my life because I met through that event. That's how I met my agent. Yeah. So they had come down for Ghana Fashion Week, and she was covering for Vogue Italia with Shalom Mensah. So back then, I don't know if you ever remember Until Boshi, those sort of events.
Until
my friend Neil and I would just get dressed and go. Like, we were just hungry we didn't know what we were doing, but we just wanted to be a part of something. And we would dress, we'd go for an event. It's like sometimes they'll tell you, oh, you can't enter because you don't have any invitation. And Debbie was one person that I think she is really such a great person. She's a nice person. I'll reach out to her and I'll ask her about something. She will just reply back. Then I'll say I was really like a fan. Even now, she's more like a family member to me. So I'll reach out to her. She's like, oh, don't worry, I'll get back to you. So I remember, I don't know what happened, but I think I reached out to her and I'm like, I really want to go for Ghana Fashion Week. And I really don't have a ticket. And she's like, oh, I actually got invited and I have a spare ticket. So she gave me it was a VVIP. So obviously,
yes, Charlie, you went to the...
So me too, I really didn't lose guard. I really shaded. Yes. I still have those pictures. I shaded. And then I think Mervyn Pick also was they had opened it fresh. So everyone wants to just look good and go to Mervyn Pick just to take pictures. So me and my friend, we shaded, we went for the show. I was at front row and all that. And so after the whole, the first, sometimes they do maybe 5 designers and they go for a break. Yeah. So we went for a break and they had this soiree sort of outdoor wherever for us to go get a drink. And I saw Shalom Mensah. She's an hairstylist based in London. She was like, hey, I really like your face. What do you do? Are you a model? You know that moment when you're not sure whether you're... So I was like, yeah, because also the vim that some of the people down here had said to me had really killed my confidence. So I didn't know how to say whether I'm a model. So I was like, yeah, I'm just trying. She's like, no, you actually look great. Come, let me introduce you to a photographer friend of mine. So she held my hand and she just took me backstage. Met Adrenos. She's based in New York now. And she was like, we are having an editorial shoot for a magazine tomorrow. We'll leave at dawn to Cape Coast to go shoot. Would you want to come with us? Of course. Why not? I didn't even think about it. I was like, yes. So that dawn, that evening, I was supposed to go back home because then we were at West Hills, there about. But I didn't go home, so I stayed
at your friends.
At my friends. Then at dawn, I just woke up, met them at the mall. We went to Cape Coast. We did a shoot. I just gave my best. I didn't even know what was going to happen. Fast forward after a year, but I was really, really messaging the lady, Drini, and I was like, this is what I want to do. So how fast? She's like, at the right time, she'll get back to me. Funny enough, on my birthday, December 19th, I remember she sent me a message that, hey, I could have a good news for you. So the images that we did, Suitcase Magazine really want to commission the images, and so I have something for you. Then she gave me how much? $150. It was a lot back then. Yeah, so I was really excited, and I think that really changed a lot for me.
Wow.
Dope. That's a crazy fast story.
Yeah.
And when was this? Which year did you go to the fashion event?
Honestly, if I remember, I think it was either maybe 2013, 14, 15. Yeah, I'm really not sure because they had a lot of. Yeah, I think either 2012, 2013, 14, one of them. Yeah.
It sounds like you're persistent.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. As any person, whether you're creative or not, you just need to be very consistent about everything that you do because it's really not easy out there. Yeah.
How's that helping with? Because the pattern that I heard from you answering Mutombo's question about the impact of Sister Debbie's invite was you were constantly messaging Debbie.
Yeah.
About random things, about different things, and then ticket came up. Then you met these people, you did a photo shoot, but the main story for me was after the shoot, it was about constantly messaging and staying in touch. So is your communication based on, because I think you're such a story that I'm sure young people are learning a lot from it, but I'm also trying to maybe give them even more for myself to learn too, because sometimes you wonder if you're being a pest, you're bothering somebody.
Same.
But what kind of interaction do you approach? Like, are you asking questions about the industry? Are you sharing information about research you've done? Or what was the interaction really like for you? Or how you managed to engage with people and for them to be responsive?
So for me, I think my little nugget would be, personally, I don't know if it will work for everyone, but like I think, like you said, you being persistent, you need to also not be in people's face because the industry that we find ourselves, people are really like, they work with their brains. Everyone wants to really have, like I said, Mutombo, I want to do this collaboration, so let me start messaging him. But it could be just random checkup. And also then I used to see Debbie's tweet and all that. So sometimes I'll see something we would laugh about. It wasn't even like I was trying so hard, even though I knew that I wanted something from her because I know that maybe she's in the industry, she could help me. But legit, just check on the person. But now you're in a system where someone can randomly just message you, and the next thing, how are you doing? The next thing, can you give me this? So it's really not like very natural. Like it's not really real in the sense that people have their own issues and whatnot, but also try and be a part of what they are going through, what they are doing. Oh, you made mention you were building a house. How far with that? You get it, and then you could bring, the person that will ask you what's happening, this is what I'm doing, and this is where I am.
So you're really about building relationships.
Yeah, I think it's very good.
And nurturing them. Okay. Mutombo, you
go.
So, creative producer is a title. It seems like it seems like a new role. I would suspect that comes from social media right now, talent being, because you made mention of your background that you don't have any quote-unquote formal classroom, do this, that's how you become. But there's something obviously about you.
Yeah.
Style, maybe approach, maybe intellect, maybe just various things. And I want to know from your perspective how you see the role that you're in now and how you think is going to impact the industry at large, from fashion to whatever else that you put your hands, because I think you've done some work with Mercedes-Benz, so on and so. But it's really about marketing, branding, kind of larger scope. Like the role that you're playing, how do you even say become you? You know what I mean? I could go to school and become an engineer.
Yeah.
But what you do is more innate, for lack of a better description. It comes from within, and then you're also adding your own research, your own exposure, your own twist, and all of that. And that cannot be like put together in a book necessarily. So it's like a two-pronged question. How do you see your role that you're in impacting the industry at large in the long term? And also, how do you feel like someone can become you, a young kid looking up to you now? How can they become?
Wow. So I would say, based on you asked a very nice question about creative producer. It's sounding like very new, even if it's not. Why I'm creative producer is everyone can be a producer. Like with this podcast, before everything started, there was someone making sure, are you coming? Are we on point? That's the producer's job.
Yes.
Having to send messages, booking a talent or whatnot. So everyone can do that, but like when it has to do with the creative producer, you're not just bringing talent or trying to get on recce, location scouts, getting everyone, like the crew coming on set. But when the brief is sent to you, you see through, there might be some things that might not be right, because where I stand in this industry with my career is more like, if a brand comes to Ghana and they want to do a project, they send you a brief. Oh, let's go to Jamestown to shoot. Or let's go to Menchia to shoot. That's good. But when you check the brief, maybe there might be some things that they might say, because to them, they've never been to Ghana. Right? You should be the eye, you should be the voice. So if there's something in that brief that says, let's go there. Obviously, when you get to the King's Palace, you can't just wear your hat. You need to take it off. But maybe they might not know. You get it? So these are the key things that you would advise, tell them. And aside that, calling yourself a creative producer, you just don't read a brief, but also you're a part of it. Visually, who can bring this work to life? Is it, because there are so many photographers, there are so many videographers. A videographer could be good at wedding videography, architecture videography, but not fashion.
Right.
Same as the wedding videographer, same as a wedding photographer. So now you need to also say, okay, based on this brief, it's very inclined to fashion campaign. Who do I book? Who do I send suggestion to the client for them to select who or what not? So these are like a creative producer's job.
Wow.
Then when you see the brief again, who really fits? What sort of model should we go for? Is it Mutombo? Should we go for a skinny guy? If it's a lady, light skin, dark skin, all that really factor. So sometimes you work hand in hand directly with the brand's creative director.
Okay.
Then you tend to advise, okay, we can do it this way. We can start this time. Let's consult maybe this photographer. Based on the brief, in the morning, we can start shooting maybe when the sun rises or when the sun sets later in the day. All that really is like a creative producer's job. So I don't know if I've answered that. And with regards to having to impact the new generation or even my generation, I believe that I'm in the state where when I started off as a writer, from modeling to writing. Writing was the main thing that really birthed this creative production. And I thought I was just writing, but I realized that now the writing was really shifting into having to bring together a team of creatives to work with. And the forefront of everything that started was more having to work with emerging talent, people that people don't know, not necessarily established, because established people, they're already there, they are good at what they do. How about the new one? Because we've been in a system where people really gatekeep, but then they make it look like, oh, we want to work with you. You get it? So one of the main key things I wanted to do was just work with emerging talent. So having to come from the writing perspective, what I did was I had a chance to start working for Vogue Italia. And so when I pitched the idea to them, I wanted to write it for them. It was mainly for sustainable fashion. So having to work with fashion emerging designers or talent who solely are doing like sustainable stuff. So from designing, if someone is doing batik tie-dye and all that, you go to them, try to talk to them, interview them. And so Vogue started making me travel. Like, I used to already go to Lagos for Fashion Week, but now I really took it very serious, where every Fashion Week, just go there, just be behind the scenes, backstage, and see what designs is really different and really speaks African, but also is what gearing towards the global market. So that's how it started. And I remember my friend Carlos, he's a photographer. We worked on one model called Fifi. We did a Polaroid shoot with him, and he was more like my talent. So I scouted him. I mean, he was already doing an amazing job, but like he wasn't signed and whatnot. But having to come from a modeling background, I was like, this guy has the potential. So you know what? I'll try coach him. So we put together a brief, did a shoot. And when we finished, he was like, let's submit. So I submitted to Vanity Teen. And what happened was we had a very good feedback. The editorial went well. So Carlos was like, you know, I think you need to really try this production thingy. So that's how it really started. So now writing production. So if I have an idea, okay, now Global Citizen is about to happen in Ghana. What can I do? I could write about maybe street style, or I could write about backstage moments. Who do I pitch to? Vogue, this, Essence. And then for me, I was very lucky or blessed enough where it was a very pivotal moment for me because then the president had announced the whole year of return. Mm-hmm. And so I remember my first ever pitch that I really got like a good feedback was Essence had written to the Essence editor that, hey, Ghana is about to start this whole year of return. I would want to cover the whole Dirty December project. And after I sent it, let's say within 2-3 hours, she replied and she's like, they are really interested. So she gave like editor's notes what they would want us to cover. So the whole through December, we're doing that story. So that really changed a lot for me where I realized that now people were reaching out to me. Oh, how do I get on Vogue? How do I get on this? But now I don't make the decision. So I could say, okay, cool. You know what, let me just pitch. If I pitch and they like the idea, that's good. And I realized that some friends also started collabing. So I had a chance to work on Davido's album. Is it a good something? I've forgotten the album. Something a good. I've forgotten a good.
I don't know.
The Good, Bad, and Rich.
I don't know, but like, yeah.
We told me just made that shit
And the
up.
leverage was really so good that like the reach, obviously Nigerians know how to really push things.
Yeah.
So what happened was that editorial really went far. Shout out to Amara because she brought me on.
Shout out to Amara.
Yeah,
for
so
real.
I did the writing. I interviewed Davido and then I pitched that story. But the creative direction, she did everything. Then we sent it to JQ South Africa. So that changed things. And so now PR agencies will reach out to you, production houses, oh, we want to do this, we want to do that. Yeah.
Wow.
So who gave you that idea, or who told you that, or even how did you get their email? Like, who gave you the idea that you can go ahead, you can do something and pitch it to these people?
I don't know if I should say this, but I think as Ghanaian creative, we sometimes, and it's not our fault. I said this recently to a friend of mine that we grew up from a place of timidity, not in a bad way, because it's like, how dare you ask questions? Because I remember when I was a child, I could see something, I'll ask my grandma, Abafra born, like, shut up, you're a kid, that sort of thing. So it never really gave me room to even be very, like, open about things until I started going to uni, having to meet friends. I realized that, this is really not that deep. And that's the same thing that really cuts across with us. There is a lot of resources around us. Online is your friend now. Now social media is free. You don't have to even say, oh, this person is holding on to so many things from me. The truth is, LinkedIn was everything. And I'll go on LinkedIn, I'll go on Instagram, Twitter. Sometimes I'll see a post, and maybe when you go on the person's bio, an editor for maybe so and so, you just follow. If they don't follow back, that's fine. But like sometimes, even if they don't, their DM is open.
Yeah.
So me, I'm not there to be like friends, because obviously they mean business. So hey, Mutombo, what's the best way to reach out to? I have an idea. Right there, they'll just give you their email. You send an email, then maybe after a week or two, you follow up. So that's how for me it started. It was LinkedIn and Instagram, Twitter, and also some events happening around in Ghana. You go for it, you tend to meet people. Yeah.
So that means for this, from, how should I put it? So from when you started, you were using your own resources, money to work, then you would pitch.
Yeah. My first time I went to Lagos, and this, I'll say this with my chest. Sorry. So I think then it was Ebola period. And I've been very how do I call it? I want the right word to use. I've been very, I didn't say stubborn, but yeah, I've been very stubborn. So I went to GTC before I finished with my last uni. But I was just studying IT, and I realized that, Charlie, this wasn't really a thing for me. I wanted to do like fashion. Like I just wanted to be in this industry. Yeah. And so one time my school fees, it was Fashion Week, and I called my friend. I'm like, let's go for Fashion Week.
With your school fees?
Yeah. He's like, how? I'm like, let's go. Then Airbnb too was fresh. So we went online, got some Airbnb. We didn't know that. And that was my first time going to Lagos. So I didn't even know that Lagos had mainland and island. So the place was nice. So we just got the place, not knowing that it was on the mainland. And Lagos traffic is not
crazy
Accra traffic. So what happened was, we had Fashion Week. Then I'd pitched the idea to, what's the name? JQ South Africa editor. So he was like, I'm not going to give you anything for this because it's more like we want to see how good you are as a writer. And also I understand because it was my first time ever writing. So I got my friend Meolatha, he's a photographer, and I'm like, yo, let's do this together. He bought his own flights. We all went together, did the story. But let me come back to the Lagos issue. So what happened was, in my mind, I was like, we're going to stay on the island, only for us to get to Lagos. The house is far. We sat in traffic for like hours before we go on.
Lagos traffic, yeah.
And so the first day street style, we missed it. Yeah, we missed the first, and I was a bit down, but we couldn't do anything. So the next day, what we did, we had to go very early, and we got everything, came back to Accra with the whole show. After everything we did, I did a story, I sent it, and the editor really loved it. Because I realized that then when you go for Lagos, it was just Bella Niger, but we weren't really having a lot. And like I said, I used to see Fashion Week, Milan, New York Fashion Week. They used to have street style and all that, but we didn't have like a lot of that. So I wanted to just be one of them writers who was writing for.
Yeah. So so if like, let's say you go to Fashion Week, you do the story, and do you just send it to, let's say, a GQ, or you send it to a bunch of people? Because this time you are doing it with your own money.
Yeah.
So you have the freedom to send it to.
Yeah, you have the freedom.
Yeah. But
so
for you, it was just one person.
It was just so, like, again, because the GQ editor had given me his card, and then that was my last days doing modeling in South Africa. So I took the card. I didn't even bother reaching out to him until when I was ready. So when I read that, he's like, sure, do this for me. So it was more like, in quotes, you've been commissioned, but like you're not getting paid, that sort of thing. But it was a very big moment for me, because just to even have my byline or my name on GQ that was what I was looking for. So you could either give all your like stories to different publishers, but I think as a writer, it's always good to pitch. Then until you hear from them, when someone says no before you move on to Fred, not you went to Mutombo, now they say, because what if they all come back saying that they want it? Then it's like
they are going to choose the best.
So it's best that you always pitch. Yeah.
Okay. Where did you learn how to write?
I think, again, growing up, a fancy home, I hated math. I never loved math because my grandma would force you to learn, and my sister was really sharp, but like she was really smart. And so we had a studies teacher, but I remember when we were young, when she was doing the math, I would just be reading. So even when I went to GSTS, I studied general arts, went to Ghana Telecom because my father wanted me to be an IT person. But I left and I went to Blue Crest. That's where I studied what's the name? PR, and I majored in, I studied mass comm and I majored in PR. Yeah, so the writing I think started from uni because we're writing a lot, like speeches and all that. Yeah. But also, I think the reading really helped growing up because I loved reading growing up.
So let's say if you are pitching a story for GQ, right? Do you go to their site, read their stories, the style that they write in, or you just present to them your own style? You need
to be a fan of the publication, because you can't just pitch. I can't just go to Fred and go like, I want to work with you when I don't know about him. You get it? So it's more like you reading their platform, realizing, okay, this is what they do. They're not really doing this. So I also realized that then there wasn't more of a Pan-African stories on GQ. It was more focused around the South African bait and whatnot. So that's how it really inspired me to start.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm going to ask you like a series of random questions.
Gosh.
And then I'll figure out why I'm asking.
Let me ask one last question.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you check out the podcast before coming? Did you go to our page to check out the podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
But be fair to me though, because there were a lot, and I have my favorite podcast from the show. So
which one?
Joseph.
Oh, okay.
And what's the name? Fafa. Fafa's one was
Yeah, because you are friends with them.
No, really, it's not. No, it's not being friends, but like I think.
But so that means you didn't check the Debbie's episode. Debbie was here in season 2.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
My best friend.
Wow. So the reason why I asked you that, did you check our seat and your
hat?
And your hat?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
No,
I thought there was some synergy there between the heart and the seats, but
honestly,
okay. So the series of random questions, there's things that are playing in my head. Have you ever gotten a comparison to Papi Kojo?
yes. Oh my God, I hate it.
You have?
Yes, you know those young school
you
kids.
hate Papi?
No, not I say I hate Papi. Papi Kojo is a good friend. No, I hate in the sense that there was one, Papi is very tall. Two, how do you even, when you see like the school children, Papi Kojo, and you know when you're driving around East Legon, those small boys and girls, Papi Kojo, I'm like, can't you see that?
You are
Wow.
I've also heard people saying I look like, I look like EL because he's older than me, so I look like EL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So there was something about your expression or presentation that took my mind to when he was here. Okay, and then the other random question is, have you been told about being somebody thinking that you're from Tadi?
Yeah.
You've heard that before?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm going to ask you one last random thing. You've referred to the West quite a bit, presenting things to the West. At what point did you realize that the place you're from was putting a lid on who you wanted to be?
Was hopeless.
That's what I want to
Yes.
say. The place was hopeless. When did you realize?
I think when I go into uni, I realized I was just passing, but I didn't really like the whole course because anyone who knows me from GTC will tell you, like my mate or my course mate, I'll just dress and go to school. Like I loved fashion. Whilst they were doing C++, I'll be on my phone watching fashion shows or a campaign. So it was more like I was trying hard to just please my parents and my family members, but I realized that no, it wasn't really. So when my late dad, may RIP, left and everything, I realized, okay, he was the main reason because he had a dream that,
rest in peace.
When you come to America, you go and work in the White House. He had that vision, African parents. So I was like, this person is no more. And so why not just do what I want to do? So I left GTC without telling my family members. Yeah. And I went to Blue Crest to study mass comm. Yeah.
Wow. So I'm asking also for the benefit of what do you call it? It's a domino effect, right? You
It's
started
a domino effect.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Sasadamo. It's a domino effect. I cried, bro. Open profile. It's a domino effect. You guys here, Saddam.
Make no mind up.
No, that's how it is.
Yeah. So, but you started from saying it's too funny. Oh man, the way that the whole Debbie thing started, and then you going on this journey, and now you're doing. I don't want to sound like I'm overhyping, but to get your credentials attached to companies like Mercedes-Benz and some of the ones that I read, I'm like, okay, these are not companies that do things lightly.
Yeah.
It's very thorough. They are very intentional. They are very also mindful of who they associate with. And to even know that Vogue and some of these other Essence and all of that are looking into Africa for talent. It's exciting, but it's also heartbreaking in a way that to say, so if those people are not looking at us, you would have to be stuck in some IT box somewhere.
Yeah.
Your talent fizzling out, wasting away. Where now you can be so impactful with your experience, with your thinking, and that's how you put your stamp on everything. Because I read, I don't know if you've seen this, Burna Boy's younger sister or something.
Yeah, Renami.
Yeah, she had something to do with Range Rover and all of that. How do you feel about you guys coming from where you come from, being courted by these major brands, and you putting your stamp on things like this? It's
exciting and humbling. Sometimes it's very surreal because it's like, hey, is that me? And always, you need to part.
Check, reality check.
Like, no, you really need to get to it because, like you said, YT man doesn't play with his money. You're not his friend.
Yeah.
Work is work. And so to them, everything should be done like apt. Like you need
There's
to be
expectations.
Yes. So when that whole moment, like even with Essence, after the first year of return Essence story, the editor came back again. We did it. This time they flew me to Lagos. We did a Lagos story. And then she became more like not just a client, but more like a big sis. So sometimes I would just see something, I'll just send an email, I'll text her, it's like, I'll get back to you because she's very busy. But I'll be sharing ideas with her and she's like, oh, I think this is good, but we are not really looking to do this now. So just hold on. And she'll be also sending me like things for me to read. Oh, you can actually look into this. This is what we are doing for the next quarter. Next year, we are looking to do stories so and so. How best can you come in? So already you also need to start planning ahead.
Yes.
Okay, this is what I want to do with them. So when you made an example with Ronami, it's very nice to see how Burna Boy has brought his sister. Literally, she does everything with Burna Boy, like in terms of, I think styling wise and creative direction, I'm sure. They work together. And you made mention about how, has it not been for this whole moment, maybe I'll be honest, I think it will even be worse. Yeah, because I got to a point where I felt very stuck and I was so mad because when I finished high school, I had the hope and promise. I mean, my parents lives in the state and my mom still lives in the state. So, we'll come take you after high school. You go to, so I had the American dream. So when this whole death of my dad, blah, 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 happened, and I was like, that's when it was a wake-up call, because I wouldn't call myself, I come from like a very wealthy home, but like it was a middle class. And for me, I got really pampered by my grandmom. So I never even saw that there was no money until when I grew up, because it was more like she will make sure there's food on the table. She will make sure you look like, you never go to school and feel like, oh, you don't belong. The only thing I really felt bad about was when children are bringing their father for PTA. I didn't have one. So I remember one time, one crazy boy told me I was a bastard. Yeah. Because my father didn't show up. I remember, actually. So this whole period was more like, what do I do now? This man is gone. So when he died, I realized that the family didn't really care about us like that. It's like, now it was a wake-up call. So you need to figure out life. So that's how, now the modeling, the 2x4 modeling that was there, I wanted to do more. But also, coming from a fancy home, they will make sure you finish school. So my mom wasn't really in support. And no, I'm not saying this in a bad way. Now, she still gets about, she's like, recently she was in Ghana, she was like, you need to finish your IT course.
What?
Yeah, because for her, she still sees me as, go do your IT, because that's what maybe your father wanted. And I was like, I can do, right now, I'm done, I have this degree, I can do maybe international relations. She's like, no, I want you to do that. So for her, she was like, this modeling, I'm modeling out here, DM, found culture, like, these are not necessary. Why would you just be taking pictures? And they saw it to be useless. You get it? But I knew there was something coming out, because also watching, I remember there was one time I was watching a show, it was Kanye's show, and one Ghanaian also, Kese was on it. And I was like, ooh, if a Ghanaian guy can be on this, then I can be
Absolutely.
So that was one thing that even really motivated. So when I got signed by my agent, and that woman has been like, she's a great woman. She really believed in me, because when these whole guys were doing 611, she's like, with your 5'9", 5'10", with 11, whatever, you can do something. You can be like, I don't hate to call it a photo, you can be like a commercial model. Brands can use you just maybe editorial-wise, like facial stuff and whatnot. So let's see. And she paid my first ever ticket to South Africa, Cape Town. And yes, she made sure I got signed to an agency. So through that agency, I got one of my major personal good project with Puma. So like that whole moment, has it not been for her, and also me being a bit stubborn, trust me, I would have been here.
Now, I'll ask you this. I know Mutombo is coming in. There's an emotion that I've been trying to express, but I've never quite found the accuracy in language.
Okay.
But I know there's a feeling that is not just limited to an individual. How did it feel like for you, that emotion that somebody believes in me? I can come up for air, I can breathe. Like, you know, somebody, like you're talking about this lady giving you a chance, buying you a ticket, saying we can do something else, you interacting, them respecting your mind, all of that. What was that? Did you ever have that moment where you're like, thank God, Obi Jimmy, like somebody sees me, somebody feels me? Have you ever had that?
Yeah, and before I answer that, I wouldn't call it a panic attack, but you know, that moment when you want something to happen and it's not happening, you can wake up at dawn and it's like you're really sweating. I used to get there a lot. I was like, I really want to do this. How come? I remember there was one time I went for a casting and they told me I should. Like, I remember one guy said to me, "You don't fit. You can never be a model." So I think that word even really got me.
Charlie. People
and
be
I was
direct like that and idiotic like that.
Fast forward, I mean, life really, tables really turns.
I hope you're punishing him.
I'm not, but like, I mean, it happens.
Do you see him?
Oh yeah, a couple of times.
Is he working for Mercedes? Like is he doing stuff for Mercedes?
He's just in Ghana doing his stuff. Yeah, but I think
that
word,
you are very nice.
Bars.
Yeah.
No, just in Ghana doing his stuff is a very
that
nice
word. No, that word really got me.
corner.
You know, words really affect us one way or the other.
Yeah.
And we might say, "Oh, I'm very tough." I'm very, very soft. For me, I'm very, very soft. So it really got me. And I remember I'll wake up at night and be like, it will be playing in my head. You can't. So it's like there was no vim.
You can't.
Yes. No, honestly, because and the truth is, I remember going for that cast. I knew that I wasn't going to get picked, but I don't know why even I carried myself there. So having to get someone who just believes, is like, after I remember when CK's magazine images came out, she actually even circled some of these, like, this is my favorite. We'll use this for your books. This It's like she was in it with me. So for me,
she was in it.
Yes, I really felt like, wow, this is actually someone who believes in me. One, the family is more of books, so for them it's out. So there was no way I could even discuss anything modeling with my mom. The more you talk about it to your uncles, they're like, go school, go and like, it was very bad. And the people I have here too, only a few really believed in you. So it's like, what do you want to do? So I think for me, that moment was like everything to me. Yeah.
Dope.
It's crazy.
So, Ekow, one, I mean, I have picked a few things from you, and in the last few weeks, I'm trying to restructure my life. I'm trying to be reflective. Now I have 2 journals that I keep, trying to take my affirmations too seriously. Because I got to a point where I'm like, yo, Mutombo, I'm dope. And I'm dope.
Yeah.
Like, I'm dope.
Yeah.
100. Booyaka on that.
You are dope, right?
Yeah.
But you are not doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, you are not. What are you doing? You might be doing something else, but you are not really doing anything. I woke up one night and I'm like, what? I'm not doing anything, but I can do everything.
Yeah.
So why am I not doing anything? So I started, thinking, like, putting pen to paper, writing things down, and such. But I've learned one thing from you, and I think, like, I never tell anyone this, I'm going to note it down. Sometimes you have to be persistent.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. People might not like you, but
I can't do it. I feel I'm being a pest, like you said. Like, oh, Charlie, if I message this man or guy once, twice, and let me just stop. But you have a calm way of doing it. And I think I have to be
doing
that kind. Because anytime I contact someone about something, it happens. Let's do it. But I don't want to be a pest. So this isn't a question, but this is something that
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Based on what you're saying. You, Mutombo.
Okay, so.
Do you ever feel like you're afraid of success?
Yes.
Okay. Because I think that's where the problem is.
Yes.
So that's maybe somewhere
me even imagining that.
Yeah.
It's no, that can
Scary.
be me.
Yeah.
You know, that's so funny that you're saying this. I was on my laptop earlier on and I saw something and I'm like, oh, this, I can do it. Like, so I was watching an interview with Sheila BT, one of the woman. You know, she paints too. Like she's now one of the richest women in the States.
Wow.
Sheila.
She was in Ghana.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Sheila said something.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently she owns hotels and all that. So what I do every morning is I go on YouTube and I watch a video. It can be any video. After I meditate, I go on YouTube, then I watch a video. And that's what, you know, it's so funny. YouTube knows me very, very, very well. And I'm like, I can do it. I'm like, nah, that can be me. That's a billionaire. So yes, but I'm gradually trying to shed that off. I think it's also my society, especially the people who I grew up around. You know, no one had that dream. You know, they either become drunkards and then die. My uncle was always suppressing me. Like, you know,
it's a serious thing we're discussing.
It's crazy.
That feeling of never being even recognized. That you can do something and you feel it in your veins that I am great at this thing. But they're stifling.
I call it a village champion syndrome. It's not just us. It's like a thing of, you know, in Ghana, sometimes we like to celebrate mediocrity. So if I realize that Mutombo is a good photographer, he shot for Vogue and he got on a cover, Mutombo's mind, he's rich, that's it. But have you asked yourself that shoot that you did, after 5 years, someone can come recreate and even try better than you? So that whole settlement of us having to rest, that's what we have. Because even when you're a child and let's say you do well in school, you come, you won't be like, why are they into there? Like, she doesn't even want to celebrate you more. Because it's like, you've done well. You should have done better. You should have done better. So it's like, we all grew up and it's like, it's a mindset, like how you made mention his uncle. I used to, like, my cousins used to say things to me. We a doll, like, and ball, like follow, like so many very vile things.
But you know what? I love that the two of you are in that creative state. I felt, and I came back. Funny enough, I couldn't breathe in this country. Then I left for so long, and the belief that was instilled in me by just normal bosses that I worked for will call you into their office. That nurture, that care. Chai Mutombo, sit me down and say, this is what you made, but you can make so much more. These are your potentials. If you change your output to just this, they're showing you the reality of what you can actually accomplish and they believe in you. My question to both of you is, why? Because we have high achievers in this country, people who have become successful. I'm not talking about politicians who've stolen money or crooked businessmen who have done... It's okay. Fuck all of y'all. But I'm talking about people who have done things. Where is that desire for mentorship, to touch the people, to pull people up and say, you can do this too, like, I believe in you, or help you find because, you know, it feels like in the West, and I was just paying attention to what you're saying, everybody Debbie is a great person, but Debbie has a lot of exposure. She's put you on, this person puts you on. Mutombo, he has so much talent, like he does so many things. I'm like, Akwawi, but every time he's doing something to me that is of note, is some foreign company that's come to hire him to do some documentary, some blah, blah, blah. But nobody locally is going to come and say, Chai Mutombo, you be the guy. You for shoot this thing, you for shoot that thing, or you for follow this thing, let's do a big production, I'll throw money behind you. Why we do so?
Ban politicians.
This thing, I don't know how to, I have an answer to it, but it's very, free
your mind.
I kind of feel, again, our leaders, if I say lead, not even politicians, but like wherever field that you find yourself, people really don't see what, like a young, but like, why should I give Fred my money? Like that sort of, this small boy. Everyone wants to feel like the CEO. I'm the boss, but they tend to forget that sometimes being a leader means what you being behind the scenes and also,
of course,
making way for people to like pass through. So it's been a thing from childhood till now,
culturally.
So it really affects us because there's been instances like how we made mention. I've done a lot of projects. Sometimes I really wish, like I'm saying this on camera, I really wish I could work with some Ghanaian brands. But in their mind already, oh, you're expensive. It's already, you get your expensive, but you've not even come to me. 1, 2, maybe they heard something you don't know. And so people have their own perception. It's more like personal stuff. And that's how we are as Ghanaians. I don't know Fred, but because Mutombo said, oh, Fred Crouch, no, but you've never met Fred. How about you having an experience? Yeah. And I used to get worried about those things where, oh, now like my business partner, because I have a creative production agency, I used to talk to him and be like, oh, I feel like, oh, this person, he really is like a bit tough. You go like, no. If you tend to really listen to everyone, you might not go for it. And that's the truth, like you made mention. In the West, people see you or your boss is very tough and rough. They know, they understand the business. I'm not there to play, okay, Fred, let me sit you down. I'll mentor you X, Z, Y. I'm done. Get to work.
Yes.
If you're not able to, he moves on to the next person. But with us, everything is personal.
People take things too personally. Like you can't
everything is very personal.
It's crazy, eh?
Everything is very personal.
You know, I'll tell you a quick story. One of my guys, thank God he's still working for me now, but we almost lost this working relationship because I came to the site one day, they had given me an estimate for something. Mm-hmm. And I'm a very black and white, these are the numbers, this is what you told me. And the estimate was off by like 60%, right? Mm. So I'm upset. And I'm like, what happened? And then he's like, oh, he just kept repeating, boss, and so, boss, it wasn't enough. And I'm like, why? I need to know the why, not the fact that answer. Mm-hmm. Oh, boss, answer. And I'm like, listen, I was here when you told me it will reach here. I'm not stupid. Yeah. Explain to me why. You know, say the guy, come work for 2 days. I called him and he had literally quit. And I was speaking to him and he's like, yeah, the way you spoke to me, if you say I'm not stupid, that means you're saying I'm stupid. I'm like, whoa. That's a problem. I wasn't calling you stupid. I'm saying I'm not dumb. Break it down for me. Let me understand so that it doesn't happen again. Blah, blah. I say all of that to say that what you're saying is very true. Like I have seen that people are not self-driven most of the time, but people who are like us that are ready go-getters, if you're coming off as a bit aggressive,
they can't stand you.
They think you are like some asshole, disrespectful, you be too no, but maybe you're just trying to pump them up. Yeah. How do we, from your perspective, because you're a little younger, and I think there's more hope in the youth than there is, at least with my generation. It's like, can't teach an old dog new tricks. But with you, because you're doing it, some 20-year-old can literally see you're barely 30, you've broken through, you've worked with top brands. This is not a mystery anymore. This is not, I dream. Do you ever wonder how you can touch them and let them feel you, even though they are hesitant to approach and all of that? Do you have thoughts of like how you're going to help make it better for yourself from back then, like people like yourself?
Yeah, I do, and I'm still doing that. I mean, in the past 3-4 years, I've worked with like young talent, and I still do.
You mentioned,
And
emerging
so
talent.
something I remember before someone will reach out to you, oh, I want to do this. You put them on. Now I see so many young writers, their bylines, JQ, this, that, and I get excited because this is like, you get it. You paved the way, and now they are also doing it. So people reaching out to me, I'll give you that. Wherever I can do, I can. But also sometimes it becomes sad because, again, Ghanaians really expect so much from you when they see that you're there. Mm-hmm. But it's not that easy. So at times...
I mean, it's not Father Christmas now.
Yeah.
Take the information. It's the most important thing you can get. Knowledge of how... you spat so much game. Even me, the things I've learned from how you've approached things and how you've done. Anyway, guys, I'm excited. But listen to the man. Take information. Stop asking him for $20. That one, no need. Listen to the information, you know?
Yeah.
I think it has to do with more like young people. What I would say is it's okay to serve and it's okay to learn more. there's always someone ahead of us. I remember when I came in this industry, shout out to Nane Sine, is it Jojima? I don't know. Jojima. All these guys were really doing amazing. And Nane Sine is someone I really respect in it. Like, those days, for you to even shoot some music video, it's not easy. So your predecessors are always your predecessors. Never think, oh, you're better than them. If you're not adding up to whatever they are doing, that's fine. But like, don't always be ahead of. Sometimes it's okay to reach out to them, ask questions. And we should be very collaborative. Because I'm saying this because I'm in a situation where right now, some young people feel like, oh, you're too much for them. Because again, when I was asking about Gen Zs and whatnot, my cousin is a Gen Z, and sometimes I can't stand him because they want everything very easy, but also sometimes they don't want to put in the work. You can give him something to do. Oh, cousin, I want to come and do my NSS with you. Okay, send me an email. He feels because he's your cousin, he will just send his CV via WhatsApp. You get it? So little things. And I'm not here to, you know what I'm saying when it comes to that. Like, I've worked with some, I'm still working with, I have some great Gen Zs I work with, very amazing guys. Some in the past, I'm like, no, they thought they were doing you a favor. I brought you on to something doesn't mean that you're better than me. I just want to also see, because I've been there. And some came, they messed things up and whatnot. So sometimes people also try to hold on to things because they feel like, if I bring Mutombo on, he might mess things up for me. But it's not because Mutombo messed up doesn't mean that Fred will mess up. That's where there's a little bit of like a conflict, because every now and then someone does something, the next person will come mess up. So now you think about it, it's like, if I bring this person on this campaign or this project, would he? Because I've been messed up like not once, not twice. So now it makes me sometimes also think twice.
Cautious
like,
a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's a perfect transition to my next question. How do you pick the people that you work with? Like, do you have a battalion? Like, do you have a note of like someone who's well versed in documentary style, maybe photography, someone who shoots his videos in a certain style? Like, do you have names in your vaults where if a job comes, you know who to pick, or you have a team that you work with constantly, no matter the type of job?
Internally, we are just like 6. Yeah, that's like the culture having to work. But even with them, it's just, I think, 3 or 4 people that will be on set. But the rest are more like comms and
Okay, cool.
I tend to work with everyone. But again, when it has to do with corporate brands and what they want to do, you can have 80% say. But if Fred says, oh, this campaign, I'm looking at this type of style, and they ask you for like suggestions. So normally they'll go like, okay, we are coming to shoot. They are not bringing in a photographer. They ask for like suggestions. So can you send me at least 20 or 15 photographers or videographers or stylists or whatever, so they can choose from. Then sometimes, if you are lucky enough, if they trust your work, then when they say they want Mutombo, you can also say, okay, Mutombo is good at this, but I think you could. But normally, a client always has a bigger say because their creative director really has a sense of what they want to do. So for us, if I say because it's not a team, for us it's more like we tend to always share, okay, these are the people we've worked in the past, these are their works. Or sometimes they can come straight from maybe a work that you've done. Because now for the last 3 years, what's happening is a client brings, oh, I saw you worked with Fred, can you find out his availability? So then I go back to Fred and just ask of his availability. Or sometimes they'll be like, can you send us a list of, so we tend to do all that,
Okay, dope. You were recently in France?
Yeah.
Oh?
Paris.
Yeah, Paris. Was it for the...
I went for Fashion Week. It wasn't even mainly because of that. I went for a project that I'm working on, and before that I went for the Cannes Festival.
Cannes.
Yeah.
CNES.
People will say Cannes or whatever.
Yeah, the film festival. It's
I can't say Cannes. Yeah. How was it?
We all need an exposure, honestly. And my grandma used to say travel and see. Sometimes you might think you are doing, but like
Charlie,
you're not doing it.
Yeah,
it was really an eye opener, like having to see like young directors, young producers, female, like it was a big room, seeing different people coming together. I learned a lot, and I think I met one investor, like random, after I dinner, we were talking, and he said something that really struck me. He was like, oh yeah, I always get like Africans sometimes pitching ideas to me, but at times, if your story doesn't have, this is a free thing I'm saying, if your story doesn't have maybe a top Hollywood director directing it or a top Hollywood star, why should I invest my money? That really got me, and I was like, wow, so when are we even going to get there? Because also Hollywood wants to break even. So if they are investing $50 million, $20 million on a project, and their stars or whatnot, they are not really known, to them there's no ROI. So yeah.
The business part of it is always going to be the business part.
It's crazy. They don't joke with their numbers.
It's not easy getting a top, actor in your film. And if you, I feel if you are telling a rich, dope story, Charlie, it'd be hard.
So I told him that I feel like this new generation is a new set of people. So I think it's best they always give that chance for people to.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. The question that I'm trying to ask you now is, you've done it with big brands, world famous brands. First of all, what do you think about the marketing and branding scene locally in Ghana?
I was going to
And if you were to pick your favorite campaign out of these brands, like who do you think is doing it at least at a level where you tip your hat off or say, these people are dope?
For a brand I really want to work with.
Yo, forget the billboards. Sorry, Ekow. If you go on radio and there is an ad for a Sony camera. Hey, Sony camera. Yeah, Charlie, load you with information. I'm like, Charlie, when are we going to stop the mosquito coil ad? Definitely on TV. Now I'm from radio. I'm going. You see a mosquito flying and the coil there. And then we do
the Look at how we all know the sound. And I haven't watched TV in Ghana in at least 25 years. But I know they are still going.
And then someone clapping. Clap.
Hey,
Charlie.
Like cow.
It is crazy.
I really think also is the market that they are trying to target. So for me, someone like I'm like, okay, yeah, because they have a sort of niche type of.
Let's say you are trying to target the local market. Let's say someone who is local. Yeah. That is too much info.
I get it, but I think some brands are really doing well. Like,
oh yeah, that one.
Some brands are doing well, like Guinness, Malta Guinness. Yeah. There's this local brand that
because
really love.
Because they like their concept, like their agency are not they are not based here, right? True. Yeah.
But is it a matter of chicken before the egg or egg before the chicken? With this, who they are trying to please thing? Because aren't like creative directors and people like yourself supposed to be the taste makers? I think you would dictate what cool is for even the local guy. And I don't think that is the way to be the coolest version of Ghana. You know what I mean? Like, we can speak differently. We can locally. I'm not trying to say that brofusem in your ads. I'm saying that let it be more meaningful than the BS that they kind of try to throw at.
Like if you go to the West, like to the States, to Europe, you won't see any billboard on the highway loaded with information. Sometimes it's just an image and the brand name. That's all. You are gone.
There was a time I saw a copy around, like it was just a written copy. It was so good. I think in town. And I was like, wow, who really sat down to do this? One time, so I saw this copy. I was so mad. I'm not going to mention the brand, but I remember when I was in uni, my final year in Blue Crest, there was one time they told us to go out. So one of our courses, you need to you go out to just see what ads, then just to report. And then this ad, they were selling in codes. It was a bleaching cream, but also aside the product that they were selling, when you see the billboard, the talent or the model had like a big Apple logo phone, just like this, and the product on the side. So as soon as I saw, I was like, okay, what are you trying to sell? Is it
The phone?
The phone, because right there, honestly, I was iPhone 11 or iPhone 10, whatever. It was fresh. So in my mind, I thought it was until I realized that it was so and so product. So sometimes there's that issue where if there is a good creative director, before it even goes, someone will just see, okay, you know what,
message is not clear.
Let's take this out, or let's even edit
it out.
Yeah, because when I go here, I remember how right there you took a cup. Some places they don't care; they'll just leave it there. Little things where even if a brand is not sponsored, I don't need to have any water. Like these things, and at times when I see influencers even doing their own whatever, okay, they are selling, they say a shirt. That shirt, the person is wearing so many things, and the shirt that they are selling, it get lost. One time I was in a fashion show, the designer finished doing everything. Very nice collection. This person came out with like a Gucci.
Charlie, they are for their own brand. Wow.
So right there, you get me? What are you trying to sell? Because I love your collection, but now you just switch my mind to your nice loafers or slippers. So I think sometimes that's where the issue is. But if there's that maybe creative director, there's a creative person in the team where they tend to, but also if they are willing to work with us.
Ekow, how do you find inspiration?
I don't know. It will sound, it's not even cliche, but I think I just love to worship. Yeah.
Worship.
Yeah. At dawn when I wake up.
Worship.
I sing
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I play my gospel. Yeah.
But why do you have a smile on your face? Like, looking at me.
No.
So you do praise and worship. I
wouldn't call it praise and worship, but like just playing very calm music.
And you sing along?
Sometimes, but at times I'm sleeping, so it's just the song. Then right there.
What's your favorite gospel song?
Elevation worship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's mine too. But.
Okay, local. What's your favorite local song?
Team Eternity.
What's that?
It's some new guys. Their gospel is.
So you don't like On Your Man Mercy?
I never said so. You are saying it. Please. I never said so. You are saying it.
But you like any of her songs?
Should I tell you the truth? I love local because again, I grew up.
That's where the vibe.
I love the local worship. Those days, like the Pentecostal ones. So Uncle Ato will cut for me because his worships are good. But like some of our local gospel musicians is more of.
My favorite gospel song of all time is actually a hymn, my Methodist hymn. Rescue the perishing, care for the dying. That's my favorite.
Can you sing it? Wow.
Jesus is merciful and Jesus will
It's
save.
a very deep song. Yeah. So worship first, then I think also I just love to just walk sometimes when I'm home and having to just read, flipping through magazine. But also one thing that really get me more inspired is when I'm talking to people. So I could be talking to you and maybe you might be talking about maybe, this Afash I want to go document. Right there, I'll also be getting ideas. Okay, you want to go, what can I also do? There was one time a friend was talking to me about, I always say this on platforms, he was talking to me about a fisher because he grew up in Cape Coast and whatnot. And he said this thing about fishermen that I'm like, have you thought about having to do like a fashion editorial with these guys? Because fishermen too do have styles. They wear shirts and how about getting a brand, bringing their sneakers or their jacket, whatever, style them in not too like outside what they wear, whatnot, but like a bit of like their style, what they like, then doing a fashion editorial. I was like, this is actually a good. So when he said that, I was like, I'll start working on this. So I started working on it, still ongoing.
So Chai, you said something crazy, right? Chai, Ekow, you are giving me so many ideas. When you spoke about the fisherman, so if you want to shoot with a fisherman, and let's say you don't have like whoever you talk to that doesn't come through, are you going to go there and let them wear what they would wear, or you go to maybe a Cantamanto to find clothes for them?
Again, so that's the thing. When we started, myself and my friend, again, when I was saying that I was doing modeling and no one really cared about whatever, it was us just buying canned stuff. Yeah, pair some skinny jeans and all whatnot, get a big suit, get tired, and it's like, we think we're doing fashion. Kant has all the vintage stuff. So going there, you can outsource stuff, just put it on them. And also that's how editorial should be, having different designers coming together. And now locally, we have very good designers in Ghana. Like that's, I could say with my chest, there are amazing designers in Ghana. So now as a fashion photographer, as a photographer, it's even easier for you to really like source from these guys and put together something.
So it's crazy, right? Have you seen the Adidas Jarabia photos?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Very good. So you see how
documentary style.
It's so good. Like how the guy got inspired is more like maybe he growing up in, let's say, Nima. Then he saw that these men you would wear like their normal jalabia. How do I get Adidas on board? He was just here. I'm sure he sat down, drew whatever, strive. Okay, this is how I could do, and it looks so nice. Yeah, it's really on point.
The world is I used to have an idea when I thought I was dabbling in fashion. Well, I used to say that I just wanted to walk on the street, because what I pay attention to when I'm driving is there's so many unique individuals with so many different vibes and looks and all of that I wanted to always grab. Like I said, if I was going to do a campaign, it would never be with models. It would just be grab people off the street, dress them up for a day or two, and pay them, obviously. But I always thought it was an interesting... There's so many interesting things about Africa, Ghana, the place that we're from, that I want everybody to be able to take, even Mutombo's style of photo shoot, like going up to people sometimes close and personal. And we see what happened to... What's the name of something in New York? What's the name of that brand?
Humans of New York.
Humans of New York, right?
What
no, I'm saying that look how he took off and became so big and impacted the whole world. But you're taking such intriguing photos that I think we, maybe millennials and down, have a unique opportunity to rebrand Africa. And that's really what needs to happen, is that we're not going to tell dated, stale stories anymore. There's so many interesting things about us, our experiences. Mutombo took me out last weekend, and just him and the way people were vibing, moving along, but the kind of conversations that were happening, I'm like, all of this needs to be captured. There's an underbelly. There's a lot of things that are happening that are exciting. And I'm rambling on. I have a question for you. How, so far, you've done well. I mean, you've done really cool things. But if you had to, say, come up with a campaign to rebrand this country, I'm just thinking, where would you start from?
Where would I start from? That's it's not quite difficult, but it's a bit dicey in the sense that before your question, you said something I wanted to chip in about Ghana as a whole. We have a very good story to tell.
Great story, man.
I can pick the Ghans, I can pick the Fantis, the Nodness, and you won't even finish. Yeah. Our story is very rich. So right there, sometimes I'm like, if a brand wants to come to Ghana, you can just take Ghans, what they do, and you won't even finish. Yeah. Before you move on to the next way. So doing a campaign...
Ashanti, before you go to the Kyapim, but Charlie.
Doing a campaign for Ghana, it will be, I think just collecting data first. Okay. Yeah. And having to tap into back then, because Ghana back then and now, there's a big gap. And someone like Uncle James Bano, he really paved way for fashion photography, whether we like it or not, because what he was doing with some of the guys like, what's the name? Felicia Ban. What's the name? there was another guy, he made mention, I remember I interviewed him. These guys really saw something that it was beyond them. Because right now when you see Ekow Barnes' images, it can really still really make sense now. And that's what a lot of top photographers, YT photographers tap into it and just shoot. So I would rather go back and see. Yesterday I saw a picture, this whole Napo issue that was happening. One guy posted a picture of Kwame Nkrumah, like the women were running to him or so on Twitter. And I was like, ooh, right there I had an idea. Like imagine starting a film like that where like Kwame Nkrumah is being blah blah. I'm not here to talk about Nkrumah, whatever, but like I feel like all these guys really did something. And so if we really want people to see how Ghana was, we need to go back, tell that story from then, without having to hide the people who really paved the way.
Yeah.
You get it? Because when you allow yourself to like listen, and that's why folk tales and folklore or whatever is really good. Because growing up, my grandmother would smell a lot of white powder around my sister and I. Then she'd be telling us story. These guys really lived. Yes, these guys lived, and you could tell that they had a lot to tell.
Yeah.
And when you sit down, you realize I can ask you the same thing. You give me your grandma. We can sit here and just do a movie because there's so much they said. So if we want Ghana, like we want to tell a Ghana story, we go back then we bring it into the now. We can get a good story. Yeah.
So have you worked on any music videos?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do you usually work on music videos?
I wish I could do more, but I think the few that I did, I really loved it. I was chance enough to work with Omale for Understand. We shot, I think, in Elmina. And it was really good, like the whole...
What was your role?
Then I did more of casting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so I helped with the cast and also a bit of production because they had a team that came down, the director. I don't get a chance to work on music videos. I'm sure maybe because people feel like I'm more tailored around fashion and all that, but when I get a chance, I think I'll do. The last I did, aside Omale, we did a lady, Uma, she's a Grammy Award, I've forgotten the name, Uma something. Sangari. No. I've forgotten her name, but it was also a nice music video. But I would really love to work on some great storytelling music video.
What would it take, right? Do you say no to... Have you ever said no to anyone who has approached you for a collaboration or for work, even not just local, like an external, firm or agency reaching out to you? And have you ever said no? Or when it's out of the country because of the money, you always say yes?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. Personally, it's all about the money, even though I love money so much. I think, again, everyone needs to have some form of an ethos or something you believe in. There are some brands that I can never, and not in a bad way, or maybe until they change how they think or how they do things. I'm very much more into, after a project, 5 years to come, 10 years to come, 15 years, what would Mutombo's child, what would Fred's child, what would my child, what would my sister's child say about that project, rather than, because again, how we're talking about, how Fred was talking about corporate world. Corporate world is more like no one gives an F about you. It's like, get the work done. So sometimes they tend to forget that there are humans behind a story that they are trying to tell. Some brands don't really care about people like that. And so I've had a chance where I remember during COVID, I'll mention the media house name, is a big media house. It was also, they wanted to do a story and I had pitched an idea to them. So they loved it, blah, blah, blah. But when the story was done, you know how as a writer, you go for your final draft edit with an editor. This lady changed some wordings. And you remember that when COVID happened, I think Ghana, we were one of the countries that we really had the war, like in terms of, we didn't have a lot of like outbreaks and whatnot, but she made a headline look like, it's like Africa there, that's where it started. And I'm like, no, this is not how I want it to be. I'm trying, that's why I'm even pitching this idea to you. It was very good money, but I had to say no. And I felt very bad, but like also, I was like, you know what? just let go my story. You can also just take your separate. Aside that, there's been some brands that we were in good conversation with, but then due to budget, again, sometimes brands feel like because they are coming to Africa, they have to downplay the creatives down here. But the truth is, they will never do that if they were there. So at times when you realize, and luckily now having to be in an industry where you have some very good friends, I could easily call Fred and be like, hey Fred, so and so brand want to work. How much do you think roughly I should? Oh, maybe don't go below this. So when you realize, or you tend to realize that, and you go ahead and like, oh, I wouldn't really take that, they kind of feel like, I'm doing a favor. No, you rather giving them that privilege because they are coming down. And so that's where sometimes the issue is. But when you say no, you always get someone picking up that. So the no's, yeah.
If you, 2 questions boiled in one. If you had a chance to work with an artist from the States, who would it be? And who from Ghana is always on point when it comes to fashion for you? Oh no! It's
in Ghana for people.
Who that one person who's
just
always
one
on point?
person?
Yeah.
This is difficult.
No, but there should be that one person who, like, at any event, they are on point, or they try to be on point, or they are close to being on point.
At least give male and female. Let's just do that.
Okay, yeah.
Male, I'll give it to Joey B. Yeah.
But Joey is always simple. Like,
no, but I love his style. I think you see that's where we tend to. He's not. You can be simple but very.
Yeah.
But that's
classy.
you. I've told you that several times.
And you can be. You can look all wherever.
I feel simple wasn't the right word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Joey isn't.
He has a style.
Yeah, he has a style,
Yes,
and
that's the right word to use. I think Joey B is one of the best male celebrities in Ghana. After that, I'll give it to Papi. I know you want me to say one, but I can't. For females, hey.
Just one, fashion-wise, like they're always on point.
But the
Nanekia.
Nanekia.
Yeah, then Debbie.
I don't know Nanekia.
Oh, the lady that does red carpets every event.
I'll have to look her.
Yeah.
She wears some big things like black girl.
I'm sorry. I feel like, no offense, ladies. I feel like Ghana women fashion is just a lot of beads and pearls and tight corsets and I don't see anybody breaking out of.
No, but there are some dope people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't go out a lot.
If your odor is always looking on point.
Hi, Ifya.
Anytime I see her, she's always on
fresh
point.
chick.
Ifya for the woman, Ifya
as a musician, Debbie.
No, not Ifya. Ifya.
Odor.
Ifya. Yeah. And also Debbie.
I think the influencer girlies are really doing it.
They're trying. Yeah. So a bit of the younger generation, but I'm talking about like celebrity. Carol's not bad. Shout out to Carol.
Yeah.
She does her thing.
And also, if you had one person, one artist to work with from the States or wherever, or UK or somewhere in Europe.
It could be an actor. It could be.
Yeah, it could be an actor. It could be a musician.
I think I want to work with Denzel Washington.
So, oh wow, dope.
Have you seen the new movie coming out?
I literally.
Yeah.
So the way. That guy is a genius.
Never thought.
What do you think of the fashion scene in Ghana right now?
On a scale of 100, 70, we are really growing. Yeah.
So, 70 is too much.
No, I'm serious. I'm being.
Who's your favorite brand right now? Because I'm feeling some people right now. I want to see if I'm on the right track.
No, not me being. Because also I don't know. I think you should give me.
No, I mean, so what's some of the brands that you're feeling right now? Not just one. I wasn't trying.
Shout out to Ajabane, Christy.
I knew you were going to go there.
Yeah.
But I think he's one of the dopest doing it. It's just that he makes his things too hard to get. But that one I don't want to bash.
But that's how it's supposed to be.
I mean, I wanted to buy a bunch.
Studio Kojo Kwesi, Christy Brown, Metake, Chip, Bio. Like, these guys are really doing some dope stuff.
Shout outs to Threaded Tribes.
Yeah.
I have one of the
Erama too. I love. She gave me this jacket. They're doing well. I think when it has to do with sustainable brand, they are one of the few doing amazing. There are actually a lot of young designers. Honestly, I feel like that's why I said 70%. Because if I'm supposed to name, I really can't name everyone. Yeah.
So you have dreadlocks.
Oh God, I was really skipping this question.
Yeah, you have dreadlocks. Is it part of your
swag,
your look, your appearance, and what are some of the challenges that you have faced, even in your field, when you appear and they see you in dreadlocks?
In Ghana, there is a lot of challenges because already, as soon as I get up from my house at night, from the moment I turn my junction, Rasta, I'm always being stopped by the police, like literally. And when they stop me, now I've gotten to a point where like I don't even roll down. So it's like I give that boy your face, like, what do you want? Because they already profile me always. Let me tell you one funny. There was a time I had a friend and he had stuff on him, if I say you know. And he was ahead of me. I was behind him. He got stopped. They made him go. I got stopped. These guys got me out, searched me like what the Koti man said was, we are searching you for drugs and ammunition. Like, do I look like, because of this? So I got pissed. I was like, the truth is, it's because of my hair. If I didn't have this, you would never stop me.
I've said that to them before.
Yeah.
I like, you should have waited. Have you seen that my friend?
Yeah, so
that's my guy.
That's one thing that
we tricked you.
That's one thing that
like you're dead.
That's one thing that really
Ghana police, you go carry you go
You go and show them where your friend is.
Yeah, that's one thing that really gets me. Yeah. When like one time we were on a Ghana project call, and you know how a typical African auntie can look like, they have a certain type of, and I remember she made a comment, but I know deep down she was being shady. She's like, this your hair, dear, is nice, so deep down it's not nice. In there she's trying to tell you, I wish you had cut it. So sometimes you have that, but in terms of challenges, like the Western world, they don't really care about that. For them is you getting the job done. And so
last two weeks or a week ago, then my auntie, met me. Not my auntie, but my mom's friend met me and started hitting my head. Chinese guys still see me as some child.
Imagine grown man with children.
They always see you.
Started hitting my head and started to twist it. And I was like, you have to go and cut out your hair, right? I'm like, why? I was like, this we smokers, style that you are doing there. I'm like, you know what? If you talk about my hair again, me too, I'm not going to do what you want. And you know what these old people want. So right now you can't ask me anything. Okay, then I'm sorry. You see, it's always some some colonial mentality. Like,
it's so bad. You have no idea. Like, you can't see the earring because of it. I've gone to a place where it's like, we are looking good, but I wish you'd take subtle comments is really is annoying.
I don't know why they care what's on other people's body so much.
I'm trying to get a thong ring.
Hey,
yeah, true.
That's what you did.
That one you're on your own.
You're on your own.
I want to get then I'll put a big ball ring, like this thing. No, I just feel that it's cute.
I don't think I've seen a guy with a tongue ring yet.
Oh yeah, there are. I've seen.
Oh really? China, with our local food is there. China. Imagine you are eating it.
Well, it be best somewhere.
Stop. I bet quiet.
We got two take free. Listen, I wanted to make a comment about you and
our local food.
I'm sorry.
Wouldn't help you if you want to get a tongue ring, Charlie. Imagine you're eating beans. Charlie.
With Banku.
Yeah, Masa.
Stop it.
Don't try it.
So, imagine you eat sauce on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
You go see that you swallow the tongue ring before you know you swallow. I mean, the crew go down smoothly.
Hey, Dankruma baby. Charlie, Fred, go.
My final question to you, or final comment to you, is congratulations. You are an inspiring young man. Sitting next to you makes me, I know Mutombo probably feels the same way. It makes me know that those tears, those cries, the pain was not for nothing, because easily 10 years ago, 15 years ago, this was unfathomable. That a young guy would be working, that's from us. This is not born in Abrochi and lived there and has come back. And no offense to the people who do that. We love you the same. But somebody from the soil who can trace their steps to be doing it as big as you're doing, Charlie, big ups to you. Keep making us proud. And my final question is, what makes you happy?
Just seeing my works, like all the sweat, all the shouting, all the calls and all that, and like you see the final outcome, and just even having to wake up and someone just randomly, like, I mean a stranger, because I think with the people, sometimes we feel like it's very familiarized, but like a stranger can just message you and just say something. It's really humbling. I remember when COVID happened, I did a story on like the dances, like Ghana culture, the dance culture and everything, and how you remember COVID when we were at home, everyone was doing dance challenge and whatnot. So I did a story, and after the story came out, I remember after 2 months, a white a British lady reached out, and she's like, "Oh, they are using it for their thesis in Central St. Martin's," like the story, like
wow.
how. And to me, right, I was like, wow, this is really major. Forget about it, like for a school.
This is academia.
Yes, for the person to visit, like, oh, I didn't know that. And Dance God, Ziggy, because they were part of the story. And I remember Dance God then was dancing more with his father and the mom. So they were really stunned, like how united these guys were doing back then during the COVID era. And so I was like, wow, this is really exciting. So whenever I'm really down, comments like this really makes me not to give up, because it's more like there is more to do. Not everyone will really fuck up with what you are doing, honestly. And it's actually okay. You can't please everyone, because also I came from a place where I used to please everyone. Like, oh, if Mutombo says this, I have to. Meanwhile, I can't, but because I want to please him. But now I'm at a place where I'm really, okay, whoever stays is fine. If you don't, that's okay. So I think my work and just the little family that you have,
awesome,
makes me happy.
Awesome. Dope shit.
Charlie guys, it's been dope.
Very.
I am actually, Charlie's so crazy. Like this episode, anybody who comes on here, I pick one or two things from a conversation with them, but for Ekow, it's actually hitting me hard, because I'm realizing why I'm not doing anything, even though I can do everything. Like you have to put that oomph in.
Persistence.
You have to be.
Yeah, and you're hella dope, bro. No one will not stop telling you.
The man for do something. Charlie, Ekow, we thank you for coming through the podcast.
Booyaka.
It's been dope, Charlie.
Yeah,
Fred.
always. Very inspired. Very appreciative
Are you off camera?
No, you're not.
Where is he? You want to be off camera and see, free your mind. Don't worry, that part will come. But yeah, it's been dope. I mean, sometimes I don't know what to expect, because honestly, and I saw in a comment somewhere, somebody said, how do you feel like when I don't know the people and I'm getting to know them, blah, blah, elements of surprise. Yeah, I saw that. And I want to say, just because I know how people can be in this country, it's not intentional. It's not that I don't want to know people, but I do my homework. I research people to try and have a good, respectful conversation, to not make them feel like I'm being dismissive. But I love the aspect of it where I actually don't know people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
connect.
It makes me ask anything that's on my mind. Where you know how I feel about that. So thanks to Mutombo for always bringing the dopest people on set.
Honestly, thanks to you guys, because I feel like this conversation wasn't really, because when I was I nearly told you, like, do you have what we are talking about? But it's really very. It flows and
chill.
There are some things I said I've never said anywhere. Because maybe the questions that they might ask, but like this was very free conversation.
Without conversation,
so much, guys.
It's chilled. So usually when people are coming, they are pensive. Charlie, I'm like, Charlie.
Yeah, because it was if you're not ready. I feel like you need to be ready because you guys are.
Charlie, guys, like you have to do the do for us. Subscribe, follow, tell a friend, to tell their friends, to share all our pages, all our platforms, the F More Let's Divide podcast. Fred.
Yes, sir.
We are through.
Booyaka! Nice one.
Oh, Charlie V.
Yeah, it's Fred.
You see?